Game 2 of John Vanase's campaign. Here's my opponent, Noah. Hello, Noah.
Take 2.
Hey, don't tell them this is take 2. I might have fucked up take 1. Okay. So it's the Nuln Empire against the Beastmen this game. I picked Blood and Glory as a scenario because that was one of the features of my post-game campaign, whatever. So I got to pick the scenario this time. And, Noah's feat is he gets +1 to dispel and +1 to cast in his magic phases for this game too. So he took Lower Shadow. Alright, so here's my battle line here. You got the crossbowmen on the left flank with the level 2 Lore of Beasts. I've got a 30-man block of spearmen with my general in it. He's the one with the shiny bald head in the front there. Here is the Great Sword unit with my shining new unit filler in it, and the BSB. And here's another crossbow unit and a mortar and a hill. This crossbow unit has a musician in it, but it's representing a standard bearer that I forgot at home. And on the right flank is another mortar. There's a lot of terrain. We rolled it up randomly, and a lot of it ended up on this side of the battlefield. Here's Noah's line. Harpies, Centaurs, you got Tuskor Chariot, Bestigors with his level 4 Lore of Shadow, which is his general in it. Gotta kill that. And this is, now let me get this right, Gors? Or
yes.
Gors, and then Ungors.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, Beastmen. I'm never going to play Beastmen again, so check in later. In the beginning of the first turn, I shot both of my mortars that are up on the hill and in the tower, respectively, at this unit of Bestigors, which failed their leadership. What was it, 9 or 10?
9.
They failed their 9 rerollable leadership and then fled through the building. So what have I taken, like 10 guys off that unit through the dangerous terrain and
yeah, you've gotten 5, 6, 7.
7 so far. And then I also took some wounds off of this Gore unit.
And what else? Look out, sir! Don't forget that.
Oh right, yeah. And when I was shooting at the Bestigor unit, the toughness 5 wizard lord failed his lookout, sir, and then I rolled a 6 to wound it. Yep. So
he failed a 6-up ward save.
And then he failed a 6-up ward save against war machines. Pretty good. In Noah's turn, he moved up his harpies there to conceivably assault my mortar, I'd imagine. He charged his centaurs, moved up his chariot, rallied this unit, and then moved up the Ungors just a little bit. Then, in his magic phase, the sneaky git casts some BS spell that I didn't care about, got it off, and then he moved his wizard because it's Lore of Shadow. I forgot that he could do that. Actually, I didn't forget that he could do that. I just wasn't thinking about it at the moment. And then he cast Pit of Shades on my units, but then I just dispel scrolled it because I need that not to ever go off. In the second turn, well, let's try to reconstruct what happened. I can't quite remember. Okay, I know one thing for sure. The mortars did a number on this unit. Didn't kill all of those guys. We'll get back to that in a minute. And my crossbowmen over here, this unit of crossbowmen, took a wound off the Centaur unit. Then in my magic phase, my wizard blew his ass up. And, for a spell that I didn't even need. It was really stupid. But blew myself up. Irresistible Force on miscast on 3 dice. So it was unlucky. But not as unlucky as something else that happened later. In Noah's turn, he charged in with his harpies into the mortar. But what happened in the combat was he failed to kill the mortar. I was steadfast because I'm in the building, and he was repelled. So I get to fire that once more. And then in his magic phase, his caster, which is in this unit of Gores here, did an Irresistible Force miscast on 2 dice.
2 dice.
Yeah, 2 dice. And then he rolled...
a 4. We
both rolled the, what is it called? Cascade, Dimensional Cascade.
Yeah.
And he blew himself up to taking with him 9 Gores, which is really bloody. Yeah, right. He survived and didn't even take a wound. He's just got 2 wounds left.
He's got a wound from the mortar.
And now it's the start of the third. after the end of the third turn, here's what's happened. Let's see. In my turn, I landed some mortar balls. What do you even call that? Mortar balls? Yeah, some mortars on the head of the wizard, which was standing over there at the time, but failed to wound him. I needed a 3 because his toughness is 5, which is really high. And then in my turn, I also charged my greatswords into the chariot. Chariot fled and destroyed himself in the forest, and I pursued a few inches there. In Noah's turn, he again charged the harpies into the mortar, killing it. In his magic phase, he did another miscast on his wizard, but rolled a 7 on the table, and there was no one else surrounding him, so he was just fine. He also did get off Mystifying Miasma to do that. He did the powerful one, so it was -2 to my initiative, weapon skill, movement, and ballistic skill. Because ballistic skill is coming up a lot in this game with that unit. And also in his turn, he charged me with the Centaurs. My unit was facing the front there at the time, but I held because I had a rank on the back, and used my general's leadership to spin around in combat reform in this turn. So start of 4. Start of the bottom of the 5th. Not quite sure how this game's going to go. It's really up in the air, which is crazy because of all the damage I inflicted early in the game. His Centaurs just ripped through my crossbowmen, ripped through my mortar, and are about to charge my crossbowmen because it's the start of his turn right now. My general's unit, the spearmen, charged into the Ungors, rather. And they held, but they lost the combat. I have the Crown of Command on them. Over here, I marched up with my great swords, getting ready to do something meaningful, hopefully. His harpies are still chilling back here, and his general is... I don't know what to do. I have no more shooting to get at him, so he could run circles around me or I could ignore him, which is crazy.
He's also geared out for combat.
He's also ready to... Yeah, he's ready to charge me in the flank or the rear or something. Check in later. Top of the 6th. Noah's Centaurs charged into my crossbowmen over here, and they fled. There's one man trying to get some insane courage right now. This unit of spearmen was withered in the magic phase. I'm just getting rocked after I lost my level 2. He's got a level 4, and it's just... I'm getting pummeled with magic. But holding out there, my general took a wound. He still has 2 left. He's got the armor, meteoric iron, and 4 board save, so he's okay. And this unit here is going to try a desperation charge into the flank. It's going to be a reach, but if I get it, it might be the game. So check in after the end of the game. End of the game. A really, really epic game here. I don't even know how to capture exactly what happened in the past turn because there was so much action. Okay, the great swords made their charge. They needed to roll an 8, and they did, which felt like a really long 8 because so much hinged upon them getting into combat. So they made it into the combat that was going on right here. Okay, so they got in the rear of the Bestigors. My spearmen were holding here against the Gors, and the BSB was there as well. So to make that a short story, basically the great swords tore it up. My general did okay, and the spearman unit survived. Great swords only took a couple wounds. I won the combat by 5. Both of his units fled. I used the spearmen to catch the Gors. They caught them. I used the great swords to catch the Bestigors. They caught them. And then in his turn, he charged the Centaur into the crossbowman, the single guy left, and killed it. And then his level 4, he cast Mystifying Miasma on my guys, which would lower their initiative. His point being to lower it so that Pit of Shades could destroy them really easily. So he threw a bunch of dice at it, got it without an irresistible force, and then I rolled 5 dice at it. Did not roll 2 6s, but I rolled a 23 to beat his 21 that he had rolled, which was fantastic. Then he got Pit of Shades off. He got a direct hit right on top of my general. He killed the musician and a regular spearman, but the banner and the general survived. If either one of them had died, then the game would have been over. So, fantastic game. Noah and I are just about to count up the scores, and I'll be right back with the final result. Final score of the game, it was a solid victory to me. My opponent Noah, great guy, had a fun time doing it. Took us forever to play. So many rules, discussions, and checking things in the rule book. Getting ready for to go to conflict, so I wanted to get everything right. But here's my list here. I know all of you guys at home are actively reading it. Maybe Peyton will get a kick out of the fact that I put so much shit on my general to keep him alive. Yeah, fantastic stuff. If I could change some stuff, I would have changed the army list a little bit. I'd probably keep that steam tank in there, though the Pit of Shades is disgusting. So, anyways, that's the end of round 2 of the campaign.